7 signs you are a Heyoka. The most powerful empath is not about proving you are special. It is about recognizing why your presence has always disturbed what is false and awakened what is hidden. There is a kind of empath who does not simply feel people. They reflect people back to themselves. They walk into a room and somehow the mask becomes heavier on everyone else's face. They do not even need to speak loudly. Something about their energy brings truth to the surface. Safe people feel seen. Wounded people feel exposed. Fake people feel irritated. Controlling people feel challenged. And the empath often leaves wondering, why do people react to me so strongly when I am just being myself? That is the strange burden of the Heyoka type of empath. Not a title to wear with ego, not a spiritual badge. Not a reason to feel above anyone, but a mirror-like presence that can reveal what people are hiding from themselves. And if you have carried this energy, you may have spent your life feeling misunderstood. You may have been called too intense, too unpredictable, too honest, too emotional, too quiet, too strange, too deep, too hard to read. You may have noticed that people are drawn to you and uncomfortable with you at the same time. They want your warmth, but not your truth. They want your understanding, but not your reflection. They want your softness, but not the way your presence silently asks them to face themselves. That is why the most powerful empath often feels like the most lonely one, because the Heyoka does not only absorb energy, the Heyoka reflects it. And reflection can feel like love to the honest, but it can feel like attack to the false. The first sign is that people reveal themselves around you without meaning to. You may have noticed this your whole life. People open up too quickly. Strangers tell you personal things. Friends confess what they have been hiding. Hurt people become emotional around you. Angry people become more defensive around you. Fake people become strangely uncomfortable around you, even when you have done nothing wrong. It is as if your presence pulls hidden things to the surface. You may sit quietly at a table, be saying very little, and still feel the room shift. Someone begins speaking more honestly than they planned. Someone else becomes irritated for no clear reason. Another person tries harder to perform confidence. Another starts watching you, not because they dislike you openly, but because something about your calm makes them feel seen. You are not forcing anything, you are reflecting, and people are not always ready for their own reflection. A true Heyoka type empath can make people feel exposed simply by being present, not because they judge, not because they are trying to control, but because their energy does not easily accept performance. They feel the truth under the words. They notice the hidden sadness behind humor. They sense the jealousy behind praise. They feel the control behind concern. They hear the emptiness behind charm. And even when they do not speak it, the other person senses that something has been noticed. That can make people love you, and it can make people resent you, because some people want comfort more than truth. Some people want to be understood, but not seen. Some people want your empathy, but not your perception. They want you to feel their pain, but they do not want you to notice their patterns. They want your forgiveness, but they do not want your clarity. This is why you may have been punished for noticing what others ignored. You were the child who could feel tension before anyone admitted it. You were the one who knew someone was angry, even when they said they were fine. You were the one who sensed fake kindness before proof appeared. You were the one who could feel when someone's smile was not safe. And because you could not always explain what you knew, people may have called you dramatic, sensitive, suspicious, or strange, but your body was reading what their words denied. That is not weakness. That is perception, and perception becomes powerful when it is grounded. The second sign is that you disrupt emotional masks. This is why some people cannot stay fake around you for long. They may begin with charm, politeness, confidence, sweetness, spiritual language, or a carefully built image. But if the energy beneath it is not real, you feel the crack. You may not expose them publicly. You may not even say anything, but something in your body does not relax. And they feel that you are not fully fooled. The person wearing a mask wants the room to agree with the mask. They want everyone to respond to the performance. They want to be seen as innocent, kind, powerful, wounded, generous, misunderstood, or superior. But when a Heyoka type empath is nearby, the mask often begins to feel unstable. The empath does not worship the performance. The empath senses the contradiction. And contradiction is where the mirror begins. You may trigger people without trying because your presence silently asks, is this real? That question can disturb someone who has built their whole identity around being believed without being questioned. This is why controlling people may try to label you early. They may call you difficult, too quiet, too emotional, too intense, too negative, too much. They may try to make you doubt your perception before you have the chance to trust it. They may try to convince you that your sensitivity is the problem because your sensitivity is the very thing that sees the pattern. But the Heyoka type empath must learn something important. Not every reaction around you belongs to you. Sometimes people are not reacting to what you did. They are reacting to what your presence reveals inside them. If someone is hiding resentment, your peace may irritate them. If someone is pretending to be kind, your discernment may threaten them. If someone is used to manipulating soft people, your quiet boundary may feel like rejection. If someone is performing innocence, your silence may feel like accusation. That does not mean you are responsible for their discomfort. A mirror is not cruel because it reflects, but you must also be careful. A powerful empath must not turn every feeling into a fact. Your intuition is real, but it needs humility. Your sensitivity is strong, but it needs grounding. Your perception is valuable, but it should not become judgment without evidence. The healed Heyoka does not walk around accusing people. They observe, they pause, they watch the pattern. They let time reveal what energy first whispered. That is maturity. The third sign is that your kindness has always confused people. You may be soft, but not predictable, gentle, but not weak, loving, but not easily controlled. People may expect an empath to always be agreeable, always forgiving, always available, always sweet, always patient, always easy to access. But the Heyoka type empath often carries a different rhythm. You can be deeply compassionate one moment and completely silent the next. You can forgive someone in your heart and still close the door. You can understand someone's wound and still refuse to let them weaponize it against you. You can love people deeply and still disappear when your spirit knows the connection is no longer safe. This confuses people who believe kindness should come with unlimited access. The old version of you may have tried to be nice all the time. You may have over-explained, over-given, over-apologized, and carried guilt that was never yours. You may have believed that if you were gentle enough, patient enough, understanding enough, people would finally treat your heart with care. But life taught you that not everyone respects softness. Some people test it. Some people stretch it. Some people use it. Some people mistake it for weakness until the empath becomes quiet in a way they cannot control. That is when your kindness changes. It does not disappear. It becomes protected. Cold does not mean cruel. Cold means you no longer warm people who keep leaving you in the dark. Calm does not mean weak. Calm means your nervous system is no longer a public place. Unreachable does not mean broken. Unreachable means the old door does not open for people who only knew how to enter through your wounds. This is the part people misunderstand. The Heyoka type empath is not powerful because they are always sweet. They are powerful because their compassion eventually becomes selective. They learn that love without boundaries becomes self-abandonment. They learn that understanding someone does not mean excusing them. They learn that forgiveness does not always mean reconnection. They learn that being soft does not require staying available to people who keep becoming sharp. And when they learn this, their energy becomes different. Some people will call you cold because they lost access to the version of you that had no protection. Let them. They did not lose your love. They lost access to your wounds. The fourth sign is that you often feel like you do not fit into normal emotional roles. You may have always felt different in groups. Not necessarily better, just different. You may not know how to play the surface level game for too long. You may laugh, speak, smile, and participate, but part of you is always feeling the deeper current. Who is being honest? Who is pretending? Who is quietly hurting? Who is competing? Who is trying too hard? Who feels safe? Who drains the room? You may feel exhausted by environments where everyone is performing. You may feel lonely in rooms full of people because your soul is searching for something real. Small talk may feel tiring when the energy underneath is heavy. Fake closeness may feel worse than distance. Social smiles may drain you when the room feels emotionally dishonest. You may prefer solitude not because you hate people, but because being alone feels cleaner than being surrounded by masks. This is often the Heyoka wound. You can sense too much to pretend easily. And because you sense too much, you may have learned to hide parts of yourself. You may have learned to soften your truth, to act less aware than you are, to laugh at things you felt were cruel, to stay quiet when you felt something was off, to avoid making others uncomfortable with the depth of what you noticed. But hiding your awareness does not make it disappear. It only makes you tired. There is a scene that may feel familiar. You are sitting with people who seem normal on the outside. Everyone is talking. Someone makes a joke. Everyone laughs. But you feel the hidden edge in it. You feel the little piece of cruelty. You feel the tension in the person who is targeted. You look around and wonder if anyone else noticed. Nobody says anything. So you stay quiet, but your body noticed. Your spirit noticed, and later you go home feeling heavy, not because anything dramatic happened, but because you spent hours inside an emotional environment where truth was not allowed to breathe. This is why many Heyoka type empaths become private later in life. They stop attending every room that costs them peace. They stop explaining why certain people feel unsafe. They stop trying to prove that the energy was wrong. They stop forcing themselves to belong where their nervous system keeps warning them. This is not arrogance. It is self-respect. The fifth sign is that people project onto you strongly. They may see you as a healer, a threat, a mystery, a problem, a safe place, a mirror, a challenge, a rescuer, or a person they cannot quite define. Some may idealize you quickly. The others may misunderstand you quickly. Some may want to confess everything to you. Others may want to humble you. Some may become attached to your energy. Others may become irritated by your silence. This can be confusing because you may not even be doing much. You may simply be existing, observing, feeling, staying calm, and people start building a story around you. This happens because the mirror-like empath activates what is already inside people. A lonely person may see you as rescue. A guilty person may see you as judgment. A fake person may see you as danger. A wounded person may see you as home. A controlling person may see you as resistance. A safe person may see you as peace. But their projection is not always your identity. You must remember that. Because empaths who have been emotionally alone often absorb other people's definitions. If someone calls you difficult, you wonder if you are. If someone calls you cold, you wonder if your boundary is cruel. If someone says you changed, you wonder if healing made you wrong. If someone becomes uncomfortable around you, you may assume you caused it, but not every emotion in the room belongs to you. Not every reaction is your responsibility. Not every label is truth. The Heyoka type empath must learn to stand in their own center, to observe without absorbing, to care without caring, to reflect without becoming responsible for the reflection, to understand without shrinking, to feel deeply without turning every feeling into an assignment. That is the practical power. Because if you absorb every projection, you will become exhausted trying to be what everyone thinks you are. You will become the healer for one person, the villain for another, the comforter for another, the emotional translator for another, the silent threat for another. And somewhere inside all of that, you will lose yourself. The healed Heyoka says, I can be a mirror without becoming the owner of what people see in it. That sentence is freedom. You can let people reveal themselves without rushing to manage what they reveal. You can let someone feel uncomfortable without immediately softening yourself. You can let someone misunderstand you without explaining for hours. You can let someone project without stepping into the costume they made for you. This is where your aura becomes powerful. Not because you control others, because you stop being controlled by their reactions. The sixth sign is that your truth often comes out in unexpected ways. Heyoka type empaths are often not linear in the way they process life. They may feel things before they understand them. They may laugh at something painful because their nervous system sees the strange truth inside it. They may say one sentence that cuts directly to the hidden issue. They may respond in a way that surprises people because they are not following the expected emotional script. You may have been told you are unpredictable. Maybe you are, but not because you are careless, because you are responding to the deeper current, not just the surface conversation. When everyone is pretending something is fine, you may feel the truth pushing through your body. When someone is using beautiful words to cover harmful behavior, you may feel the contradiction. When the group is avoiding the obvious, you may suddenly say the one thing nobody wanted to name, and then the room shifts. People may laugh nervously. Someone may become defensive. Someone may feel relieved. Someone may change the subject. Someone may later tell you, I was thinking the same thing, but did not know how to say it. This is the mirror working through your voice. But again, power must be guided by wisdom. Truth without compassion can become harm. Compassion without truth can become self-betrayal. The healed Heyoka learns to carry both. They do not speak every truth just because they can. They do not expose people to feel powerful. They do not use their perception as a weapon. They ask, is this truth necessary? Is it safe? Is it mine to say? Is it being spoken from clarity or from pain? Will this bring light, or am I trying to release anger through honesty? That question protects your gift from becoming ego, because the true Heyoka is not here to dominate people with insight. They are here to break illusions with presence, timing, humility, and truth. Sometimes the most powerful truth is spoken. Sometimes it is lived. Sometimes your boundary tells the truth. Sometimes your silence tells the truth. Sometimes your absence tells the truth. Sometimes your refusal to keep explaining tells the truth. The old empath may have tried to make people understand through long messages, emotional speeches, and repeated chances. The healed Heyoka understands that some people only understand the truth when access changes. Not because you punish them, but because you stop participating in the lie. That is why one of the most powerful things you can do is become consistent. If someone tries to pull you into guilt, drama, or over-explaining, use one calm sentence. I understand how you feel, but I am no longer available for this pattern. then stop. Do not add 10 paragraphs. Do not soften the boundary until it disappears. Do not defend your whole soul. Do not turn your clarity into a courtroom. Say it once, then let your behavior protect the sentence. This is how the Heyoka stops being consumed by the chaos they can see. They do not fight every false thing. They remove access from what keeps feeding on their reaction. The seventh sign is that your power becomes strongest after you heal your need to be understood. This may be the deepest sign of all. For much of your life, you may have wanted people to understand you. You wanted them to know your heart was good. You wanted them to understand why you were hurt. You wanted them to see that your silence was not hatred. You wanted them to know that your distance was pain, not arrogance. You wanted them to stop calling you sensitive and finally recognize that you were responding to things they refused to name. So you explained your fear intentions, your boundaries, your sadness, your reactions, your memories, your needs. You explained until you were exhausted. You explained until your truth became smaller. You explained until you began asking for permission to feel what you already felt. And then one day, something changed. You realized that some people do not misunderstand you because you failed to explain. They misunderstand you because understanding would require them to change. That realization can break the old spell, because the Heyoka type empath often gets trapped in the desire to make everyone see the truth, see the pattern, see the harm, see the wound, see the mask, see the emotional reality under the surface. But not everyone wants to see. Some people need the illusion. Some people benefit from confusion. Some people call your clarity cruelty because your clarity interrupts their comfort. This is when your power begins, not when everyone understands you, when you stop needing everyone to. There is a freedom in being misunderstood by people who benefited from your self-doubt. There is a freedom in no longer chasing approval from those who only liked you when you were easier to control. There is a freedom in letting your truth stand without decorating it for people who keep trying to turn it into an argument. This is where your energy becomes calm, private, selective, uneachable. Not unreachable to love, uneachable to manipulation. Not unreachable because you are broken, uneachable because you finally belong to yourself. The Heyoka becomes powerful not by becoming louder, but by becoming less available to distortion. They stop arguing with people committed to misunderstanding them. They stop proving their goodness to people who only respected it when it served them. They stop opening their heart to people who treat vulnerability like a weakness. They stop letting every projection enter their identity. They become a mirror with a boundary, and that is rare. A mirror without a boundary gets shattered. A boundary without a mirror becomes closed and cold, but a mirror with a boundary can reflect truth without losing itself. That is the healed Heyoka. And if you recognize these signs, hold them with humility. Do not use them to feel superior. Do not use the word powerful as a reason to look down on others. The most powerful empath is not the one who believes they are above people. It is the one who can see deeply and still choose compassion. It is the one who can sense darkness and still protect their own light. It is the one who can reflect truth without becoming cruel. It is the one who can love without becoming available for harm. Your power is not in being different. Your power is in becoming whole. Because the world does not need more people using pain as an identity. It needs people who have felt pain and transformed it into wisdom. It needs people who can enter rooms without performing, people who can tell the truth without hatred, people who can hold compassion without self-abandonment, people who can reflect what is real without needing to destroy what is false. That is the sacred responsibility of a mirror soul. You must protect your energy. You must respect your limits. You must stop treating every emotional reaction as your assignment. You must stop opening your inner world to people who only want to study your wounds. You must stop confusing being needed with being loved. You must stop using your empathy as a doorway to your own exhaustion. And you must remember that your presence is not public property. Your sensitivity is not an invitation. Your intuition is not a burden. Your softness is not weakness. Your difference is not a mistake. It is a signal that your path was never meant to be shallow. There will be moments when you feel lonely in this, moments when you wonder why you cannot just be normal, why you feel so much, why you notice so much, why people react to you in ways you do not understand. There will be nights when you replay someone's words, trying to figure out whether you were too much. There will be moments when you feel guilty for setting boundaries, moments when you want to type the long message and explain again, moments when you miss the old version of yourself who trusted more easily. Be gentle with that part of you. The goal is not to become hard. The goal is to become safe inside yourself. The goal is not to stop feeling. The goal is to stop letting every feeling control your behavior. The goal is not to stop reflecting truth. The goal is to stop breaking yourself for people who hate the reflection. That is healing, and healing changes how people experience you. Safe people will feel calmer around you. Honest people will feel understood. Wounded people may feel drawn to you. Manipulative people may feel blocked by you. False people may feel irritated by you, but you will no longer adjust yourself to make every reaction comfortable. You will let people reveal themselves. You will watch patterns. You will trust time. You will protect your peace. And when someone tries to pull you back into the old version of yourself, the one who explained, chased, absorbed, apologized, overgave, and begged to be understood, you will remember this. Cold does not mean cruel. Calm does not mean weak. Unreachable does not mean broken. They did not lose your love. They lost access to your wounds. You are not becoming darker. You're becoming harder to manipulate. And when the next chapter begins, remember this. The Heyoka is not powerful because they can expose everyone else. The Heyoka is powerful because they finally stop abandoning themselves while reflecting truth to the world. 7 signs you are a Heyoka. The most powerful empath is not a call to become superior. It is a reminder that your mirror is sacred, your softness needs protection, and your power becomes clean only when your heart stays humble.